We've all moved on. We're good. We're going to shake hands and be friends, I hope.
Why do you say that? Why do you say I hope? Why do you say that?
There is so much water in the bridge. I'm here to apologize. I don't know where we step from here.
Can I give you a little bit of advice? Just a little bit? Start with your kids.
What we witnessed last night on Sister Wives wasn't just drama. It was a masterclass in deflection. Kody Brown attempted what he called an apology to Christine, but what unfolded was a naked display of ego so staggering, it left her husband, David, no choice but to step in and reveal the real problem Kody is desperately trying to ignore. Welcome back, everyone. If you thought you'd seen peak Kody arrogance, last night's episode redefined it. Let's break this down. This entire meeting was framed as Kody's chance to make amends. But from the very first second, it was clear this wasn't for Christine. This was a performance for Kody. Christine has been moved on. She's happy she's married. She stated clearly that any healing was her responsibility, saying in effect, "I don't need your permission to be over it." Yet, Kody plowed ahead with this confusing, self-serving monologue. He talked about their beautiful, magical past, phrases that felt completely disconnected from the reality of their split. The closest he came to a real apology was admitting he didn't love her the way she needed. That was it. The rest was a word salad designed to make him feel better, not her. And sitting right beside her was David, watching this whole spectacle. The contrast between these two men couldn't have been sharper. David's entire focus was on two simple, respectful points. 1, speak to my wife with respect, and 2, and this is the part Kody couldn't stomach, fix things with your kids. David tried to redirect him, saying, in essence, the women have moved on, but your children still need healing. That's the work that actually matters. He spoke from experience, mentioning he'd had to do the hard work with his own kids. But Kody, he immediately bristled. His response was a classic. My whole purpose here is to apologize to Christine. Not to David, not to anybody else. He shut down the conversation about his children because, as he admitted, it would bring him back to an angry place. Let that sink in. He outright said, I don't care what you think. Do not bring up what's going on with my kids because that's just going to make me mad. This right here is the entire Kody Brown paradox in one quote. He demands respect for his boundaries while trampling over everyone else's. Christine and David's boundary was, we don't need this apology. He ignored it. He only wanted to talk about what he wanted to talk about, casting himself as the benevolent figure setting Christine free. A woman who, let's remember, left him years ago. The audacity is breathtaking. And this is where Kody's mask slipped completely. David, calmly advocating for the kids, became a threat. Kody dismissed him with underhanded jabs like, you've only had 2 years with her. He tried to paint David as an outsider who doesn't understand polygamy. But I'm going to translate what Kody was really saying here because he speaks in a code of deflection. When he said the problems with his kids happened as a party, not as an individual, he was doing his favorite trick, blaming the system of polygamy instead of taking personal responsibility. Let me be blunt. Kody, you chose polygamy. You chose to have multiple wives and over a dozen children. You made the choices to prioritize Robin, to miss your kids' major moments, to fail on financial and emotional support. That isn't polygamy's fault. Those were your individual actions within that structure. To sit across from Christine, the mother of 6 of your children, and claim you did nothing offensive, that it was just the situation, it's a staggering lack of accountability. And this refusal to take accountability is why he twisted the entire concept of triangulation. When David and Christine suggested that communication with the kids might need some facilitation, Kody lashed out, calling it triangulation. He essentially told Christine, you shouldn't be involved in my relationship with my children. We need to correct the record right now. Triangulation is not a child seeking comfort from a parent. It is not a mother empathizing with her child's pain over their father. True triangulation is what Kody has done for years, pitting wives against each other, using Robin as a gatekeeper, forcing children to pick sides. He is the master triangulator. By accusing Christine of it, he was doing 2 things, trying to cut off her ability to help heal the rift and creating an excuse for why he won't reach out. He wants the kids to come to him, apologizing first, while blocking any bridge Christine could build. It's a manipulative dead end. This all culminated in the moment that truly exposed his God complex. Kody looked at Christine, now happily remarried, and said he wanted to apologize to set her free so she could feel the joy without the past holding her back. Let's be crystal clear. Christine has been free. She found joy. She built a new life. The only person who seems held back by the past is Kody. The nerve to say this in front of her husband, as if he holds the key to her happiness. It's not benevolent. It's possessive. It suggests he still believes her emotional state is his domain to manage. As Christine wisely stated, her closure and healing were her responsibility, done long before this meeting. David, to his credit, held the line. He stated plainly, "I'll defend her to my death, and you won't need to with me." He wasn't looking for a fight, he was stating a fact. And he tried to offer Kody a different perspective, speaking from his own experience of being a stubborn person who had to learn to listen. But Kody just couldn't hear it. He dismissed David's 2 years with Christine versus his 25 as if time spent in a dysfunctional relationship is a trophy of understanding. He told David he could be negative and miserable, or do what's best for this family. The projection was intense. David, who was around Christine's kids all the time, who sees the fallout up close, was trying to point Kody toward the real, lasting damage. But Kody was stuck on his own script. He wouldn't stop the apology tour, even when the audience, Christine and David, had gotten up to leave. They were done. They reached their limit. But Kody, with zero self-awareness, still had more he wants to say. It was painfully obvious he went into that conversation prepared to perform for Christine, but to completely brush David off. David's presence, his opinions, his very valid concerns about the children, Kody treated them as irrelevant static. He couldn't comprehend a man stepping in not as a rival, but as a partner simply upholding respect for his wife and advocating for neglected kids. So why does Kody act this way? The end of this episode gave us the answer. I don't believe Kody can have a genuine, amiable relationship with Christine and David because, at his core, he believes he is superior. He surrounds himself only with people who affirm that view. Yes men, the wife who idolizes him, the children who don't question him. Christine and David are dangerous, in his mind not because they're bad people, but because they reflect back at him a version of himself he refuses to see. A man who has lost much of his family through his own choices. They don't validate his ego. They hold up a mirror. And his reaction, the deflection, the blame shifting, the arrogance, is the defense mechanism of someone who can't face what's in the reflection. Let's pause right here and sit with what Kody's behavior is truly designed to do. It's a protection racket for his ego. By labeling Christine and David as dangerous, or being on the opposite side, he isn't talking about safety. He's admitting that they are a threat to his personal narrative. They are living, breathing evidence that refuses to validate his version of events. They won't kiss the ring. So, in his mind, they must be exiled from his emotional kingdom. This is why he can only seem to maintain relationships with those who offer unwavering allegiance, be it Robin, certain friends, or the children who don't challenge him. It's a closed ecosystem of yes men. This brings us to the most poignant, unspoken question of the entire encounter. Who was this performance really for? If Christine didn't need it, and David saw right through it, and the audience at home is groaning, who was the audience? I believe it was for Kody himself. It was a ritual, a last-ditch incantation to try and regain a sense of control and moral high ground in a story where he has undeniably been left behind. By setting her free, he was trying to author an ending where he was the gracious releaser, not the one who was left. It's a sad attempt to spin rejection into a choice he magnanimously made. But life isn't a press release you can edit, and the real world outside of his own head offers a much clearer verdict. I have a friend who was actually present during the Speedway event they showed later in the episode. She worked there and checked them in. Her first-hand account is the perfect real-world coda to this whole mess. She told me that Christine and David were, in her words, lovely, so sweet, so personable. They were kind to the staff, present, and genuine. Kody, her description was starkly different. She said he was so arrogant in person, so full of himself, and ultimately, an awful human to interact with. But here's the most telling detail. She observed that throughout their time at the Speedway, Christine was actively ignoring Kody. She was over it, disconnected, wanting nothing to do with him. This wasn't clever editing or producer manipulation. This was a neutral, third-party witness seeing the dynamic play out in real time. The man we see on our screens, the prickly, self-absorbed, posturing figure, is not a character. It's who he is. So, let's connect all the dots from this monumental confrontation. The so-called apology was a triple-layer failure. First, it failed its stated purpose because the recipient had already completed her healing and found it irrelevant. Second, it failed as a human interaction because it utterly disregarded the boundaries and stated needs of the people in front of him. And third, it failed as a strategic move because it prompted David to articulate the actual crisis, the abandoned children, thereby highlighting the very wound Kody wanted to hide. This showdown drew a line in the sand that defines the current Brown family landscape. On one side, you have movement, peace, and partnership, Christine and David, grounded in their shared reality and focused on present happiness and future healing for the kids. On the other side, you have stagnation, solipsism, and storytelling, Kody, trapped in a past he can't rewrite, protecting an ego that can't bear scrutiny, and blaming systems for personal failures. His parting shot about what's best for this family was the final piece of irony. David, the newcomer, was laser-focused on what was best for the children, the heart of any family. Kody was focused on what was best for his own narrative. The priorities could not have been more clearly opposed. Now, I have to know where you all stand after watching that car crash of an apology. This was one of the most psychologically transparent moments in reality TV history. Head to the comments right now and let's debate. Was there a single sincere bone in Kody's body during that entire conversation, or was it pure theater from start to finish? Did David cross a line by intervening, or was it not only justified but necessary? And be honest, when Kody said he wanted to set her free, did you laugh, cry, or throw something at your screen? Here's a specific question to get you started. Based on everything we've seen, what single action could Kody take that would actually begin to repair the damage with his kids? Or is that bridge permanently burned? The comments are going to be absolutely essential reading on this one, so share your take. If this breakdown connected the dots for you, if you spent the whole episode yelling at the TV like I did, then do the channel a massive solid and hit that like button. It's the single biggest way you can support this work and help us keep the deep dives coming. And to make sure you never miss one of these analyses, because you know there's more drama where this came from, tap that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're here to make sense of the mess together. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm reading all your comments, so I'll see you down there.